D. I am recording this. What is it? It's Wednesday, Wednesday afternoon, and today it seems that everybody is refreshing their electoral uh, college websites, trying to figure out who will be president starting next year, or not starting next year necessarily, either starting next year or continuing next year. And I don't know by the time you watch this, maybe tomorrow morning, if you will have more clarity or not. But what I do know is many people, I don't know whether it'll be many people in this congregation or not, but many people in this country will be very disappointed with the outcome. About half. and it makes me think of a passage from Jeremiah 29. It's fresh on my mind because I heard a sermon on this recently. I'll put a link to the sermon as well in the notes under the video. It was by a pastor named Ken Shigematsu, who's up in Vancouver. You've probably heard me mention him before. I have been listening to his sermons a lot because I need to hear sermons too, even though I preach one pretty much every Sunday morning. And he was preaching a sermon on making the most of the time that we are given. And specifically, all of the four of his sermons last month came from Jeremiah 29, which is written to people in exile. And he took a definition of exile from Eugene Peterson, which is being where you don't want to be. Or actually, in another place, I think Peterson says exile is being where you don't want to be with whom you don't want to be with, which, some of us may or may not find ourselves living in. But even in exile, through Jeremiah, God tells the people to make the most of the time that he has given them. Specifically in Jeremiah 29, verses 4 through 7, says, "Thus says the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, to all the exiles whom I have sent into exile from Jerusalem to Babylon, build houses and live in them, plant gardens and eat their produce. Take wives and have sons and daughters. Take wives for your sons and give your daughters in marriage, that they may bear sons and daughters. Multiply there, and do not decrease. But seek the welfare of the city where I have sent you into exile, and pray to the Lord on its behalf, for in its welfare you will find your welfare." And part of Jeremiah's message was to tell them what to expect. It's not part of my message. I don't know what to expect. But I do know that wherever God puts us is where God has put us. And that wherever we find ourselves is a place, like we were talking about from Philippians on Sunday, that we can live faithfully. Whether that's easy or hard, costly or popular, we can live faithfully in whatever community we find ourselves in over the next few weeks and years. And wherever that is, let's try to bear fruit for God.